I am going to get going here. And I thank you for sitting through some more technical difficulties. All right, let's move on with the Peaceful Pier. It is just a stamp set. It's not a bundle, but it will. Um, I like this one. This warms my heart. So, okay, are we still going? I can never tell. We've been through this. So, oh, just don't understand all. I'm going to keep going. So, here we go. I am going to start tonight with the beautiful Gallery Designer Series paper. So, this is the piece that I chose, but I am actually working with the backside and I'm flipping it upside down. And what I did with this piece is I am cutting it down to 5.5 by 3 7/8. And I did that so that I could put a mat behind this, which I'm not going to do right now, but just show you. And that measures 5.5 by 4 1/8. So I'm going to do a little layering, and you'll notice that I have a lot of I have two of our new in colors here. The cloud cover, which is right here, and then our secret sea, which is the mat. Okay. So that's what I'll be using. And then it'll be a regular A2 size card. So I'm just going to grab a little piece of paper here and to keep some of that shine off of there. And then we are going to ink up our pier. So the first card is going to have the pier on it. I'm just going to dab my stamp up really nice because I want this kind of juicy here. And then I'm going to line my pier up and I'm going to base this off of the sand. And that's why I flipped mine around, because I thought it kind of looked like sand. And I want my pier to come off the end of the paper so it looks like you're walking onto it. That makes sense? I hope so. There we go. I'm going to push that in, get a lot of color in there. So look at how beautiful. The reason I chose this paper was because of the lines and the paint, strokes, because we're going to use those strokes to work with the design of our card. So, going to make it fun and easy. And we are going to use our Stampin' Blends to color. My first one is going to be the light old olive. And I'm going to use that just to flip a little color into my greenery here. And you will notice I am not coloring every one. I am just getting a little color in there, just a little. Okay, and our pier is off to the side there. And I love this because we're going to make this look like sand and we're going to turn this into water. Pretty cool, huh? So let's create our lake. I'm going to start with the light one. And I'm going to go just beyond the pier. And I'm going to use the lines from this paper to create our lake. So I'm going to come out, not too far from our pier, and just use the lines to create our lake. Now, because this is grassy, but you see a little water under there, I'm going to bring the water here and then just a nice little shoreline. I'm going to leave that light. Now I'm just going to drag my marker across. There you go. And because there's already lines on it, it's going to be so easy. And if you double over an area, you're going to have a little darker areas and a little lighter areas. So you don't have to be real picky. It's kind of fun just creating some of that watercolor effect on there. Let's bring this up from under there. Okay. Now, while that's drying a little bit, I am going to bring in the dark one. I'm using the cloud cover markers here. Okay, I'm just going to bring this in and create my skyline. So right there. Cover that up. And then I like my tips better here. I'm just going to bring this in and create some nice water lines there. And you can follow the lines on your paper to do that as well. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. What do you think? Let me get a little bit closer so you can actually see the water. I got some bare spots here, so I'm going to go back in. And you can't really hurt this. That's what's so nice about this. Now look at how soft our edge is. Isn't that cool? You can have darker spots and lighter spots, and then we're going to even enhance that more. And I'm going to show you how. Let's have some fun with that. Okay, we're going to use our white pigment ink. That out. And a paintbrush. And we are just going to put our tip right in there. And then what I am going to do is just dot along the shoreline. Now, some of this will soak up into your ink, so don't worry about that. You can always go back and add a little more. But this gives you a nice shoreline that doesn't look like you've painted it on. And it looks like you have a little wave action going, right? So that's what we're doing next. We're going to move this back in here, and we're going to lighten some of this up here by just bringing some of that white in there to create little waves. Isn't that what Stampin' Up! Did with the lines? Well, we're going to enhance that even a little more. You can bring your own little waves in here. It's so cool, so easy to do. Again, I will read your comments after I am done tonight because it's not letting me look. So I hope you're all enjoying this. Again, we are just going to bring those little waves right up to our shoreline. You know how that goes. Wish I could make the sounds for you. There's nothing like the waves hitting the rocks. So there we have our sand and we have our lake. It's already done. And our sky is kind of moody. I love it. So we're going to put that away. And now we are going to paint our pier. And I'm using the dark crumb cake. And I'm using, well, my number is 500. And I will have to look back, but it's one of the naturals that they have. And it's probably in the medium. So I'm going to take this, that little pen out of my way. And you'll notice I color a lot with the bullet tips. I just have a lot more control that way. So I'm going to do my little whatever those are called, to hold your pier up. So we're going to put some little lines in here, and then I'm going to drag this down the side. Turn our pier. And then this time I am going to use the brush because I'm just going to run it all the way down the side. Even go over a little bit on there and kind of blend those colors together with that little bullet tip. And now you can go back over, blend that. And it gives you a nice distinct color that sits in your water. I don't know if you can see that, but our little water still got those nice little white marks on it. Just so subtle, but just really makes a difference. Okay, now what I would like to do is grab my little reading here. Let me close my ink pad before I stick my fingers in it. You know how that goes. This one says, somebody knows, somebody cares, your name is whispered in somebody's prayers. So I just love these heartfelt sayings in here because sometimes we all need a little hug, right? And what a nice way to send a little hug in form of a card to a friend that might need a little encouragement. Okay, put that towards the end. There we go. And this is actually going to go right here. Now, I am using the Baker's Twine Essentials pack because I don't want this to be too frilly. I kind of want it more on the masculine side, or you could say anything that, you know, not everybody likes foo-foo and flowers. Let's just put it that way. I'm going to cross over there, pinch them all together, and then trim this off. And then I am actually going to pop this up. So I'm going to do that right underneath my baker's twine. So go one over the top. That kind of helps hold it. And I'll kind of scatter these down the way. Oh, quick peel of these off. Little buggers over there. We will vacuum them up later. Now I'm just going to set this right down here. And now we can trim off our excess. Nice straight cut. There we go. Now we can just finish up our card. We'll put our adhesive on the back and it'll go on our mat, which again is the Secret C, one of the new designer papers. And it looks really nice up against this designer paper. And now we are going to take our cloud cover and add that on as well. Now you could bump this up one more time if you'd like. That is up to you. But I just love this scene. And I think it could be gold. This would make a nice sympathy card as well. or just somebody who loves the, you know, water. But there it is. Super simple card. But I just had to share this fun little technique on how to really make your water pop. It gives such a nice dimension to it without actually adding any dimension. So that is our first card for tonight. Let me set that aside and pull our out. And on this one, I am making a faux step card. I don't know if I need all this. There's not a lot of stamping on this one. But I must say, I do like the fact that it hides that glare. There we go. So here's our card base. And our card base, this is Mossy Meadow. And it is cut 9 inches by 4 1/4. And then you scored at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, and then 5 3/4. And then what we're going to do with this is the first piece gets turned into a mountain fold. And then we are going to put that right on top and create a valley. And this, you could say, is another mountain fold. It's actually flipping to the back. So there is your card. Okay, looks like this. I'm going to use my blocks here to give myself some nice crisp edges there. Okay. And then this piece here is your faux step. So this is what makes your step card a step card. But we're not doing the fancy cutting. We're doing it the easy way. So this is cut at 8 1/2 by 2 1/4. And I like this width because then my designer papers are cut at equal numbers, like 2 inches across. So if you're working with 12 by 12, it's a nice paper saving technique. So we're just going to fold this, and that is scored at 5 1/2. Okay, so we're going to do that. And now we're going to start adding our designer paper. Our designer paper is the Splendid Autumn designer paper. Okay. And I actually used 2 sheets because I wanted the whole thing not to have a contrasting like you normally see me do. Do I have one up here? Here. I have one here that is a contrasting piece, but I wanted this all to kind of like layer together. So that is what we're going to do. It makes so much fun. So this piece here is actually cut off from another piece, which now I have the whole piece besides this little 1-inch strip that I cut off. So this is cut to 4 inches by 1 inch, and we're going to put that on first. Alrighty. And our second piece, which will be in our inside there, is cut 4 inches by 3 inches. So it's the width is 4 and the height is 3. And we are going to put that on. Okay. I don't know if you get where I'm going with this, but watch. Okay. When I close this back up, you're going to see what's covered here is out front. Part of this will be covered by our piece here, but that's okay. So this piece came from the leftover side of the main piece. So Not much scrap there, which is kind of nice. Oh, and I just got glue all over there. Or should I say adhesive? Okay. Keep this right here. And then that gets layered with the rest. Okay. How easy is that? All right. Now we are going to place this. I'm going to go kind of over to the side here. The flowers all kind of go together. This all goes together. But I wanted this little open piece there because it looks like water to me. And this double mountain area will be all covered up with our little guy. So we can actually put this on if we want to, but I'm going to wait just a minute. And I am going to, well, I was going to stamp my little guy and color him, but I seem to have lost a few pieces. So luckily, I have one already done. And I will tell you, I used the same colors as I did on the first card. So I stuck with the cloud cover. And then I used the light old olive like we did on our greens over there, but I added just a touch of the dark mossy meadow, which kind of blends in with the paper. And then for his skin, I added this is in the light category. I'll put down in the comments and stuff later where you can find these markers and that they renamed them, because when you first purchased them, it was like 100 through 1,000 or something, because there were 10 of them. So I wasn't sure if I wanted this guy on this little piece or if I wanted to go a little bigger. I think I like less green. Yep, I think I'm going to go with less green. There is enough green on that card, so my little die cut must have fell when I was walking upstairs, which doesn't surprise me because I dumped a whole big glass of water on my stamping table. Woo, you never saw stuff fly so fast. All right, let's get this put together here. Okay, I want to see how far this is going to go over. And I think that looks good because you can still see the water. So let's start with this one. I'm just going to put my finger here and put the glue would work nice on this. Still got that sticky stuff there. Or you could use the Stampin' Seal Plus. I just have the regular Stampin' Seal and it's doing pretty good. Just make an extra little thing there. Okay, now this gets flipped over and then you're going to do the same thing in the back. And I noticed I don't have my little white piece for the back either. I like to cover this up and it's cut the same size as your inside. So it's 4 inches by 3 inches. And what that just does is you can write your sentiments on the back here. So you have a place to look, or you could stick it on the inside. But I like to cover this piece up in the back, so I just do it there. But I will give you a little hint. You will want to write your sentiments on your sheet before you attach it, because this will actually, bump on your pen, or if you're using a marker, it would probably work just fine. All right, now we're going to get our little Fisher guy in here. So let's put him in here. He's got a big, beautiful, sunny sky above him. And because he is a Fun fold card, I am not going to pop that up. We're just going to stick him right here. Get him as close to the water as possible. Okay. All right. Well, I can see you guys can still hear and see me, so that just makes me happy. All right. Now we have to put a little greeting on here. So I grabbed this. Both greetings today were actually from the stamp set. Or, Peaceful Pier. So this one just says, thinking of you today. So let's ink that one up. And I just pulled these out of my little scrap pile. So I have a couple different sizes. And that one works perfectly. So cover that up. And then I'm going to figure out where I want to put this. Because this I am going to pop up. And I'm going to bring it down here. I'm going to give it our nice little snip snip I always do. It's just such a nice, easy way to get a greeting and still catches your eye, right? Okay. Dimensionals. I did find my little ones, so let's get them on there. They fit so nice. I love the fact that we have two different sizes and we still got the black ones. That's awesome. All right, let's put our greeting down right about here. So we're going to connect with that. And I think I'm going to double this one. So I'm going to sneak one underneath there because of the extra paper here. I want to make sure I get this so that it's nice and even. Line that up right with our designer paper. There we go. Perfect. So there is our last card. I would like to know how many of you would be interested in a class, because I am right now coming up with a summer series of classes. And I would like to know which classes you guys would like to do. So I'll be asking that with every single live demonstration that I do or products that I post. I'm going to be asking you if you would be interested in a class for that. And this one, I have so many ideas. Hey, we haven't even used the fish or the trees in this one yet. So here they are. Totally different. You got your fun fold with our little guy fishing, and then we got our pier there with our fun little new technique that you guys can use when you're working with water from now on. So there we go. I thank you for sitting with me, and sorry I couldn't respond to any comments, but I will go back and read them all. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. I appreciate that. And as always, there will be a prize patrol later on this evening. Thank you so very much. I hope you enjoyed. Good night.